So I did a video yesterday talking about how ever since Gina Carano has been fired from Star Wars and The Mandalorian, she has done nothing but prove them wrong for firing her. Everyone has kind of stood up against the firing of Gina Carano outside of the Twitter weirdos, and if you're one of those people, you can go ahead and leave this video now because you're not going to like what's inside of it. And we all know that you aren't tolerant enough to actually listen to someone else's opinion and not just leave the video, so go ahead and just leave the video now. But ever since Gina Carano has left Lucasfilm, or I guess was fired from Lucasfilm and Star Wars, she has done nothing but prove them wrong for firing her and prove herself right over and over again. And she's also not changed at all. She's also been posting the same stuff on Twitter constantly, the same stuff on social media constantly. She hasn't changed at all. If anything, she's become more and more herself as time goes on, as she's not working for one of these big corporations that try to limit what she has to say. It seems like, though, you know, and I've been saying this for a long time, it does seem like they realize their mistake. Now, whether or not Gina Carano is going to actually come back to Star Wars, that's a different story. You know, they have a lot of articles coming out today or yesterday that talk about Gina Carano returning, and we'll talk about that in 1 second. But a while back, I think that you probably, if you watch my videos for any time at all, you probably remember a while back whenever Gina Carano toys started coming back into stores, they started selling Cara Dune toys in Disney World in Orlando, Florida, in Disney Springs. So that's a big deal. You know, that's on Disney property. They're selling Cara Dune toys after whenever Gina Carano was first fired from Lucasfilm and from Star Wars, they wouldn't even fill toy orders on Amazon that were already placed. These orders were already about to ship, and they told them, no, shut down all of those orders, do not ship any Cara Dune toys, because we don't want it to look like Gina Carano ever worked for Disney in the past. We don't want it to look like Gina Carano ever worked for Star Wars. They tried to cut out her, you know, Bear Grylls National Geographic episode, and then they started putting the toys in Disney Springs. They started putting the toys in Walmarts again. Started putting the toys in Targets again. They aired the Bear Grylls episode that they originally canceled. And even when they aired it at first, they didn't even have Gina Carano's name in the title of the show. When they had every single other celebrity name in the title of the show, they then ended up changing that as well. So it just seems like Disney has realized their mistake, and firing Gina Carano, not only are they missing out on potential money, but they're also actively losing money, because people who are Gina Carano fans, or at least, you know, agree with what Gina Carano has to say, or at least just disagree with the firing of Gina Carano based on what she was saying on Twitter, because that is pretty idiotic. But they're also actively losing money because a lot of those people refuse to subscribe to Disney Plus. A lot of people that I know personally that would have loved to watch stuff like The Bad Batch will refuse to watch The Bad Batch, or at least they won't watch it on Disney Plus, if you know what I mean. This article came out on October 5th from Inside the Magic, and it says Mandalorian Season 4 reportedly greenlit with Gina Carano returning. With filming for The Mandalorian Season 3 already underway and Lucasfilm execs adamant that fired actress Gina Carano will not be recast, it seems that likely the New Republic Marshal Cara Dune won't be making an appearance in the third season of showrunner Jon Favreau and executive producer Dave Filoni's hit Star Wars series. Carano was let go by Lucasfilm Limited and the Walt Disney Company following a series of controversial tweets through The Mandalorian Season 2. Her firing derailed one of 3 planned Mandalorian spinoff, Rangers of the New Republic, which Carano was set to star in, and it has been placed on indefinite hold. I honestly don't know if we'll ever see that show, because honestly, even if Gina Carano wasn't fired, even if that show would have came out and been exactly what they all wanted that show to be, I wasn't interested in the show at all. I'm not interested in Rangers of the New Republic. Honestly, I wasn't that interested in The Mandalorian outside of the fact that it was the first Star Wars TV show whenever it was first coming out. I want to see shows and movies about Force users, about Jedi, about Sith. Even George Lucas himself has said it, and Dave Filoni has repeated him, you know, quoted him directly over and over again. Star Wars is about the Jedi. Star Wars is about Force users. I don't want to see more and more shows about non-Force users. Let me know what you think in the comments about that, because I know a lot of people have differing opinions. A lot of people never want to see another Force user again, and they just want to see shows like Rangers of the New Republic where there's no Force users present, or at least they're not going to be very prominent. You know, they might make little small cameos here and there. Maybe we'll see some Rebels characters here and there and stuff like that, but they're not going to be very prominent. And I kind of disagree with that very hard. You know, I really want to see Force users as the main characters of all these shows. I think The Mandalorian Season 2 did a great job of having those Force users. And also Season 1, you know, we have Grogu in there. So I think that, you know, whenever The Mandalorian Season 1 was about to air, I was very worried that, you know, this would not be successful because of the lack of Force users. But in the very first episode, we see Grogu, and it kind of saved the entire show for me. And I think it made the show what it was, really. Without Grogu, the show is not what it is today. There's no question about that. Ahsoka Tano, starring Rosario Dawson in the Book of Boba Fett, debuting on December 29th, 2021 with Tamora Morrison and Ming-Na Wen. still going, despite the fact that Gina Carano's co-stars, including the Mandalorian leading man Pedro Pascal, Katie Sackhoff, and Wynn, supported her throughout the drama that followed last year. It wasn't enough to save the former women's MMA and Muay Thai fighter's job in the Star Wars franchise. Now, however, the online rumor mill is swirling with reports that Carano will be returning to Star Wars in Season 4. Gina Carano, I read today that you may be in The Mandalorian Season 4. I hope this is true. Any truth to this, message me. This guy just tells Gina Carano to message him if it's true. Like, oh my god. People, I swear people think they're so special when they're not. You will be missed in The Mandalorian Season 3. Hope to see you back for Season 4. You simply are Cara Dune, and I cannot imagine the story without her as my fave character. Well, if we're being real, she's not that important to the story. I think she was a really good character, and I think she definitely added a lot to the story. But you can easily write her out. You know, at the end of the day, as much as we all love Gina Carano, as much as Cara Dune is a cool character, you know, very cool part of the Mandalorian universe, she's a side character. You know, she's not that important to the story. Very easy to write out. They'll probably not even mention her again. I don't think that they're going to kill her off in case that she does want to return in Season 4. They'll probably just not mention her, and she probably just won't be in Season 3. Simple as that. Although the report referenced by Note Munch is unconfirmed, it is intriguing due to the fact that leading man Pascal previously indicated that a time jump would occur at some point in the series. It is important to note that nothing about Carano's return has been confirmed by the actress herself or any representatives from the Walt Disney Company at this time. Any reports of Cara Dune coming back to the Star Wars universe are purely online speculation. Also, I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of weeks ago, we had this report: Mandalorian Season 4 rumor reveals a huge change in the show's future. And this report is about the Mandalorian Season 4 being the final season. So maybe, you know, by that time, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are expecting to be, you know, have a lot of power at Lucasfilm, have a lot more pull than they do now, because it seems like as time goes on, they only get more and more powerful when it comes to the Star Wars projects, when it comes to Lucasfilm, but, you know, mainly Star Wars. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they aren't really doing anything outside of Star Wars at Lucasfilm. So it seems like they're kind of expecting something when it comes to the Mandalorian Season 4, and maybe we just have a big finale where all the characters come together, maybe to fight Thrawn or something like that. All the big characters that we saw, because that's kind of what the Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 have been. You know, he meets characters along the way, they all get together at the end to fight the big bad guy, and they ended up winning. Maybe they do that in Season 4, if that is truly the last season. And he goes back and he gets everyone who has ever helped him in all the seasons, and they fight the big bad of the entire show. Maybe that happens in Season 4. I kind of feel like it's not going to be Thrawn in Season 4, though, unless Season 4 is like way down the line, maybe like 5 years in the future. Because I think that Thrawn is going to be the big bad, kind of like Thanos. I think he's going to be the big bad of the entire Star Wars universe going forward, not just the Mandalorian. So if we get Season 3 in 2022, and then we get Season 4 in 2023, I don't think that 2023 is going to be the end of the Thrawn saga. I think it's still going to be beginning. I think, you know, I don't think that would be the culmination of the Mandalorian universe. So maybe that's kind of wrong, but maybe they'll fight some other big bad that's not Thrawn, where he has to go find all of his friends. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments. But also, this rumor has come out about a month ago where it says Star Wars rumored to change the name of the Mandalorian as after Season 4, and I think that this is much more likely. Maybe Din Djarin dies or something like that, and they continue the saga with the same characters that they're setting up, and they just change the name to something else. I think that's much more likely than the show ending after Season 4, because all the rumors that I've heard is that this is going to go for 6, 7, maybe even 8 seasons, and they want the Mandalorian to kind of be the flagship show of Star Wars going forward. They want it to be the Game of Thrones of Star Wars, but also kind of act as an advertisement for all these other Star Wars shows, because the Mandalorian has huge pull with casual audiences, which is something that Star Wars has really never had in the past. You know, casual audiences never really got into Star Wars in the past, because it's kind of intimidating for a casual viewer. Everyone that I've talked to that hasn't seen Star Wars before, they're all just kind of intimidated by, you know, the amount of movies and stuff like that. It is just hard to get into as a casual fan, and the Mandalorian really offers that entry to a casual fan. And if you spin off all these shows from characters from the Mandalorian, you get people to care about all these spin-off shows. You can create a lot of diehard Star Wars fans, and I think that the Mandalorian is a perfect show to be the flagship show for Star Wars. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Gina Carano possibly returning to Star Wars? Do you think it's actually going to happen, or do you think that this is all just internet BS? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link to that will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you next one.